Welcome back to the next episode of Timeless Style and Traditional Values, where you have three generations of fashion experts talking all things timeless style and traditional values. I'm Victoria here with my mom and my mum, and obviously, every single time we introduce our podcast, we talk about how there's three generations. And so we thought we might talk a little bit today about each generation represented here today, and what was timeless in those eras when each of us grew up, right? So I'm Gen Z. Mom, I think you're Gen X is technically what you are.
I
And
think
mom, I don't really know what you are. Are you a
I'm a
baby boomer?
boomer. I'm
Yeah.
a baby boomer.
Okay. So, why don't we start with you, Mama? Because you've obviously seen the most different decades and the most different eras. And so whatever has lasted this long since you grew up probably is going to be around for a long time coming. So let's hear from you first. What was timeless? What was something that kind of came into popularity around, when you grew up and that has lasted till now?
That would have to be jackets and blazers. I have quite a collection of blazers. I promise you, I'm not a hoarder. And you know that. My girls know that. So this jacket I have on right now, I've had for about 40 years. It was one of those things that when I cleaned things out to give to Goodwill or whatever, I just couldn't give this jacket away. It's just so pretty and it fits so nice. And I happened to be in a store about 3 weeks ago and I saw something on a rack and it looked very similar to this jacket. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I have a real vintage one in my closet. And I went home and got it out. So I've worn it a couple times in the last couple weeks.
Mhm.
But um, I have quite a few blazers. They just are, you can wear them with jeans. You can wear them with nice trousers with slacks. You can wear them with skirts. They just go with so much and they are so classic. And that's why you can keep them for years because they are just classic. They're always in style. So about 10 years ago, they made a comeback. Nobody was wearing blazers, but they came back. So if you have blazers, do not give them away. They are going to come back into style. Most of the blazers I have are 20 years or older, and I just bought about five more last year.
Mhm.
I just love blazers.
hmm I think even when, timeless styles are less popular, that doesn't mean they're out of style, right? So during
Right.
that, 10 years ago, whenever they were less popular, I think if you had worn a blazer then, it still would have looked really good and people would have liked the outfit because it's timeless. It's always
Right.
going to look good no matter what era you're in. It just might be less popular, right? Compared to some other times. Now, I am going to be a lawyer, right? So I I'm about to graduate law school. I'm studying for the bar this summer. We wear blazers all the time, and it never went out of style for attorneys to wear blazers and jackets.
Yes.
It doesn't go out of style for business professionals to wear blazers and jackets. It might be less popular for other areas of work, especially now that we have so much remote work, and people just overall are more casual. But think about Ralph Lauren, think about J. Crew, think about a lot of different designer brands. They've always had blazers, and I think they're going to continue to forever because they are so classic and they are such a staple. And they look good on you no matter who you are, what you're doing, what your body type is. It's just a staple. So now,
And we're starting to see people wear blazers with a t-shirt underneath or a
Right.
long sleeve t-shirt
Right.
or sometimes even a thin hoodie underneath of the blazer.
now
But
I don't know that that's going to be timeless. I don't think in 10 years you're going to have people wearing a hoodie under a blazer, but an article of clothing, I see what you're saying, Mom, where the article of clothing, because the article of clothing is timeless, you can wear it a bunch of different ways.
correct, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it is going to be it's very trendy to wear a hoodie underneath of a beautiful blazer. People are doing that today. It's very trendy to wear a t-shirt underneath of a blazer. More traditionally, you'll see the button-down shirt with a blazer.
Mhm.
But when we're talking about versatility and the blazer, keep it in your closet because you're going to be able to wear it timelessly, but also with some trends.
Mhm. So, Mom, let's move forward now. We talked, went back to 50s, 60s. Mom, You're a 70s, 80s girl.
Yes.
What were you wearing in the 70s and 80s that you're still wearing today?
So 70s was one of the ugliest eras, I believe, but the 80s was really ugly. Think about it for those of you that go to 80s parties but didn't actually live in that era like I did. A lot of neon, yuck. A lot of really big, huge, long earrings. A lot of girls ripped their ear holes because it was so trendy to wear these big, long earrings instead of little studs. We had the tights came in and the leg warmers and a lot of this athletic wear because mom started going to gyms were popping up all over the place. And this kind of like athletic wear came in style. It was all very ugly and unattractive. But I will tell you a few things that I kept from the 80s that I love are cowboy boots. Cowboy boots were so in style. I used to wear them with my jeans all the time. And I still wear the same pair of cowboy boots, black cowboy boots with jeans or even black pants. And so cowboy boots, I still have those from the 80s. I also still have a black leather pencil skirt from the 80s because leather was all over the place in the 80s. Think Madonna. She just had a lot of leather on all the time and very much over the top. But a pencil skirt, a leather pencil skirt, is very traditional. It's modest, it goes below your knees, and you can wear it with a very, very trendily, that might be a made up word that I just said, but also very classically. So I still wear that black pencil skirt from the 80s with a white crisp button down, a black thin sweater like I have on right now. You can wear it with heels, kitten heels. Cheetah always looks amazing with a black leather pencil skirt. So I would say my pencil skirt and my black cowboy boots are the two pieces that I still have from the 80s.
Think it's interesting. The black cowboy boot one is interesting to me because I think before that, a cowboy boots were seen as a very functional form of footwear, right? Like before, I mean, Mum, you can probably speak better to this, but people in Philadelphia in 1950s weren't walking around in cowboy boots. Like that wasn't a trend then. In the South, you might have seen a lot more cowboy boots, right? Or in the West, you might have seen a lot more. But if I understand correctly, cowboy boots were meant to be very functional to work on a ranch or a farm or in the dirt, in the mud. And then all of a sudden, the 80s hits, and now they've made their way to Philadelphia area, which is, East Coast, fast paced. You're not, traipsing around red clay in the city of Philadelphia. You're not wrangling cows or whatever you wrangle. I don't know. Can you tell I'm a city girl? Um, Using cowboy boots, but now they're all of a sudden this fashion statement piece that have endured to this day. That now, my sisters and I, we have cowboy boots that every once in a while we will wear. I will say, I think they might be a little more popular in the South since now we've moved south. Definitely see them a lot more. But there's still something that endures, in different places, maybe a little more than others, but you still see them in the North as well. So now myself, I think it's a little harder to speak to something timeless when we are still discovering what is going to be timeless from, I was born in 2000. And so, there's a lot of stuff from the 2000s that's you're not going to ever see again, probably like the low rise with the crop top. That's not timeless. It's not a good look. Um, then you have the 2010s and the 2020s. But something that I think will probably endure for a really long time is like the high-waisted jeans look. I think that people love high-waisted jeans. They're comfortable. They look really put together. And I think that's something that will continue to last for a lot of generations. I don't know, did people wear high-waisted jeans back?
We called them mom jeans in the
Mm-hmm.
80s.
Mm-hmm.
They were called mom jeans and they were high waisted. And then you started getting the low waist and low rise. And, it's sometimes it can be a moneymaker for a jean or a pant company but again, knowing your body type, there's some women that can absolutely not wear a low rise or a high rise. Um, the mom jean. So again, importance of knowing your body type.
Right. But I still think that the high-waisted look is gonna continue to last for a long time. I think that's something that really became popular with my generation as something that is trending and something that is timeless and actually is stylish and fashionable. Um,
The 50s and 60s, that's the
Mhm.
only option you had was a high rise that, came up to your waist. They didn't have
See,
the low rise and all that.
there's
And
nothing new under the sun, people. What,
mom, mom, didn't the
Yeah.
men also wear a higher, their
Yes.
trousers, their pants were up quite high?
Yeah. Yes.
But isn't it also true though that back in like the 50s, 60s, you didn't really wear jeans out? Like I know Pup Up, Mom's husband Pup Up, he is 86 years old. He still calls his jeans dungarees.
Yes.
And he pretty much only wears them to do like work around the house. He's
Yes.
86 and he still is like climbing ladders, painting things, raking, shoveling snow. And that is when he dons his dungarees.
That's right.
Um,
Never wore,
like
never, never, never wore them to church. Well, we didn't wear slacks to church. That's something new. Never to a birthday party. Jeans were very, very, very casual. Very
Well,
casual.
I mean, even Pup Up and his father ran a construction company, and the men were out there in suits and ties, not the ones that are actually actively doing the construction, but the managers and the overseers, right? Am I correct in
Yes.
that?
Yes, yes. And in the 40s, the 30s and 40s, the carpenters wore suits. We've seen pictures. Now, we didn't experience that. We weren't alive then. But it is when I see them with three-piece suits on with hammers and nails and no hard hats, no such thing. They just had a cap on. Very different.
OSHA would be having a fit.
Oh yeah, there was no OSHA.
But
Um,
again, showing that they respect themselves. They want to dress their best for the job, just like we used to dress our best for church. And again, it wasn't to be vain or showy or arrogant. It was because we respected ourselves, we respected our civilization and culture, and we respected others.
mhm. And I think that's something that hopefully is making a little bit of a comeback. I mean, I think, there's a lot of people that dress very, very casually. And if you missed it, our episode last week was on casual attire. So you should go back and check that out. Um, but, I think that when you have a leadership in a nation that values beauty and values presenting yourself well, then that will trickle down a little bit more into the culture. And I think we see that with the president and his family. They always look so stunning and so beautiful everywhere and so put together everywhere that they go. You see that in a lot of the Trump administration, pictures that are posted of the White House. Everyone looks put together. It's not like the Biden administration where, you know, you had all, I can't even explain, put it in words what the fashion disaster was that the Biden administration was. But I think that's something that trickles down from the top. And when you have a government and leadership that values beauty, not just in how you present yourself, but in cleaning up our cities, right? Making our cities presentable, making architecture beautiful again, right? That all is an indication of a healthy culture that has healthy values, that has traditional values, because we respect each other, we respect ourselves, and we believe in our country, and we want to see it last forever, right? And I think that that on a very small scale is reflected in fashion decisions.
And
I
may I say, Victoria, it doesn't have to cost a fortune. We're talking about like the Trump family. They can afford to buy whatever, but you can look beautiful from the clearance rack. You could look beautiful,
Mhm,
watch those advertised sales where there's maybe
mhm,
a Veterans Day sale or something, and you can always look beautiful and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money.
mhm,
And culture of life is about giving you dresses that are very reasonably priced, that are USA made, that are natural fibers. And we do have sales weekly. So be sure that you're signed up for our newsletter at col1972.com to receive our sales. The other thing that I really need to mention is that this is something new, I think, in the 21st century, where there is an element of our society here in the United States of America that I believe is actively trying to look dirty. and filthy. And maybe this actually started in the 60s with the hippies movement. So you had hippies that came in and said, we don't need to shower, we don't need to wash our hair, that those are values that are not important to us. Meanwhile, they didn't really do too much. I think that we're really seeing fallout and a lot of the results of that hippie, rebellious attitude in how we dress, how we talk to people, how we talk to others from the hippies. Now let's go to the 21st century. I don't know what to call it. I don't know if it's called grunge. I don't know if it's just called dirty, filthy. And again, these people, we're not even insulting them when we say to them, something like, did you shower this week? Could you please pick one color choice for your hair? Because right now you have 4 different color choices. They're so rebellious. They're so angry. They're so entitled that they really think that people that shower every day and comb their hair and put a few minutes into how they're dressing, that we are actually horrible for society and not them.
Mm-hmm.
And they think that they should be hired for that penthouse, office space, and they should be chosen. I'm going to tell you right now, when I go into a doctor's office or when I go into a diner to be served, I don't like to be treated by someone that looks like they haven't showered, your hair, your beard are disheveled, your outfit looks like you rolled out of bed and I'm not even sure. Like, I wear prettier things to bed at night than what some of you are wearing into the office or wearing out when you're running errands. So I think that, again, talking about traditional values, that there are some people today that it is very intentional. They want you to know that they're not trying hard with their looks. They're slovenly, they're dirty, and I would even say that they are very gluttonous. We're seeing a lot of people that are proud at how large they are. And, they wear their diabetes on their sleeve at 25 years young. These are things that we didn't see in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. I didn't know anybody in the 90s that was 25 years young and had heart conditions and had back problems and knee problems, because we didn't have this gluttonous society that we have today.
Right. Well, I think that, obviously, here at Culture of Life and on this podcast, we are people of faith, right? We're a Christian family. And so I think if you also are a Christian, then you know that our God is one of beauty. He's a beautiful God. He is a God of order, not of chaos. He is a God who has set into the foundations of the world, just like the laws of gravity, he has set into the law of the earth, laws of beauty, laws of order. Um, and when we see people who don't live an orderly life, we inherently know that there's something wrong with that, because we weren't created to live a chaotic, disastrous life. We weren't created in the image of God. We weren't created with God's image in us to live a dirty, slovenly life. We were created to reflect God's image, and we're not properly doing that if we are not putting our best foot forward and putting intention into what we look like. Now, I will not get on my pimple patch soapbox again, because I already did that in the last episode. And I won't subject you all to that again in 2 episodes back to back. So if you missed last week's episode, a lot of these themes, we talked about how you can incorporate timeless style into your casual attire. A lot of, practical tips for how to look put together while staying more casual. That's last week's episode. I think one concern, now refocusing on generational trends, right? I think that I hope we're not at a point where we can't return from that kind of slovenly look. I think a lot of, oh, there's Pub Up Now. Look at him crashing the episode. We were just talking about, he has no idea that I'm talking about him right now. He's 86. He can crash whenever he wants. But look, he's just sitting at home and he's got his slacks on and his button-down shirt, right? Anyways.
That's his comfy look.
That's his comfy casual look. And generationally
And I
speaking,
have never seen him in sweatpants either.
if I saw him in a sweatpant, I don't know what I would do. I literally don't know what I would do.
And he does not wear sneakers unless he's on the tennis court.
Yeah.
True, true.
I've
I
never
mean,
seen him.
recently he started wearing them a little more if we're going somewhere that has a lot of walking, right? Like if we go in a city, he might wear a little more of a comfortable shoe, but usually not.
Yeah.
Anyways, everybody, I know we kind of got he's so cute. He has no idea that we're talking about him because he literally has no clue.
Can I
Um,
just interject something here? You girls know that for years, Pop and I have been property managers.
Yes.
We had people come to look at apartments that looked dirty and sloppy. They didn't even have, I mean, we'd let them fill the application out, but they were not getting the apartment. If they were sloppy with themselves, they were not going to take care of our apartment.
Mhm.
mhm.
So that's a tip for the day if you're looking for an apartment.
Right. Well, anyway, so all that being said, right, there's good and bad from each generation. Each generation has a timeless style, something that arises that is going to last forever, and it's going to be um, a very good, lasting imprint for that generation. It's going to reflect well upon that generation. It's something that adds value to society by creating a more beautiful, a more organized closet, right? And then, of course, there's always things that come out of each generation that drag fashion down and drag society down. And I encourage you, I think the purpose of this episode is to encourage you to latch onto those things that are going to add value to society, make society more beautiful, make your closet more beautiful, make you more presentable because you reflect who you are, you reflect the God that you serve when you dress well. Um, so, with all that being said, this was a jam-packed episode. Please make sure that you subscribe to Timeless Style Traditional Values on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube. Make sure that you are following Culture of Life. Culture of Life is the fashion brand that our family owns that is dedicated to creating timeless styles for your wardrobe. We have lots of different things, t-shirts, dresses, skirts, even a few blazers, jewelry, lots of things that you can incorporate into your wardrobe that will add a timeless element. So make sure you check us out. Make sure you follow us on social media at COL1972 official. We are so excited to have you if you're a first time listener joining us. And if you've been listening to our episodes since we launched, been listening to the podcast since we launched in January, thank you for continuing to support. We love having you all here. Please leave us a comment, leave us a 5-star review, like this episode, subscribe, and we will be back next Friday at 7 p.m. with another episode. Have a great weekend, everybody.